You know, for over 11 years, Little Diva's balloon decorating has turned events into experiences, and celebrations have been turned into parties. Let Little Divas worry about making your event the best that it can be while you relax and enjoy it. Any event you can imagine: birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, family reunions, graduations, celebrations of life. Any event that you can possibly imagine, Little Divas can bring it to life. They specialize in balloon sculptures, cake table archways, and doorway arches. Get a hold of Little Divas right now and make your celebration, reunion, or business function one that people will never forget. Call 606-791-5616. That's 606-791-5616. Or visit them on Facebook.com/Little Diva Party Decorations and see for yourself. Of course, delivery is always available for a slight additional charge. Little Divas, it's where memories begin.
The following is a production of Sloan Studios. You know the podcast. Now it's time for the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings, a unique look inside the world of the Mountain Mysteries. This is where you learn a little more about the Mountain Mysteries episodes and come together to talk. It can be intense, it can be goofy, but it's always fun and mostly always interesting, even if you're rewatching Chris make a fool out of himself. Viewer discretion is always advised.
It's all about love and connection. You know who that sounds like?
Yeah, I do.
It's kind of a little bit shocking.
And I could see a figure, an outline, and it stood right there at my door and wouldn't come through.
Hey, this is Stacia Underwood Gullett.
I'm Josh Preston.
This is Amanda Collins.
I'm Dave Newsom, and I'm listening to these Mountain Mysteries.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I will be the last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. And I won't have your name to call. 'Cause I will be the last to fall.
With over 24% of the 1.9 billion square acres in America alone, the mountains that so many people call home are also host to some of the most incredible mysteries in the world. The missing, the murdered, strange creatures, unexplained lights, and sightings of unidentified objects. These stories may be strange, they may be sad, they may be odd, but they are mysterious. These are the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings. And now, live from the Pantry Studio, broadcast to all time zones around the world, with listeners of the podcast in the United States, Canada, Germany, Norway, India, the United Kingdom, and more. These are the Mountain Mysteries Gatherings. Now, your host, Chris Sloan.
Yeah, I had to throw Stace. I had to throw her picture in there. She is the co-host. She's blowing me kisses in the background. She'll be on here in just a second. What a difference a week makes. I feel a lot better, a lot more recharged. Everybody goes through hard times and times where you got to disconnect. And here's the kicker. P.T. Barnum once said the show must go on. And it will. But every once in a while, you got to take a break from the show. You just do, and it's just a lot of things that really aren't, it's things that I have to deal with, and things that we deal with. But it's all fine and it's all great. And hey to Tracy Conley in the chat, and like I said, I've got a phone down here that I can see one chat on and another one up there. But anyways, before I really lose track of thought, coming up this Saturday, starting at around 6 p.m. If you're local to Pikeville, Kentucky, at Mineshaft Harley Davidson, um, it's not a big secret that a lot of people were flooded out. Well, there's going to be a benefit. It doesn't cost you anything to get in, but there's going to be live band, live music. Going to be selling food, the Hog chapter, which I'm a proud member of. And in case you're wondering, Hog has nothing to do with our weight. It has everything to do with Harley Owners Group. Most of you know that, some of you may not. But whether you ride or not, you're invited to come up, bring your Jeep, drive your car, your pickup, whatever, come up, and we're trying to help uh, do what we can for flood victims. And it's going to be a great time, and God knows we need that after what we've been going through. I don't know, the last 2 or 3 months, something like that. So I'm hoping that I can get the word out about that and coming up. And we were going to discuss the topic of bullying, and the people that I was going to bring on are dealing with some things themselves right now. So I'm going to address them individually or as a collective. And I want you guys to know that I love you, and I'm pulling for you, and I'm thinking about you. And I want, if there's anything that I can do to help you. So instead, as fate would have it, as God would have it, I have this awesome, super cool Queen of the Road co-host. And the other night, and here she is appearing right over there to me, it's on my right. But Stacia Underwood, I call her Stace. That's what I've called her since we were kids. But the other night, she had messaged me on Facebook Messenger, I think it was, and she said, "You're not going to believe this." Oh, yes, you will, because I've got the video to show. 2 of them. Stace, good evening, my dear. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How about you?
I'm
You
doing
look good.
I'm getting back to, we all go through ups and downs, and
Oh, yeah.
sometimes it just kind of happens that way. And but thanks, and I thank everybody for the concern. Last week was nothing detrimental. It's just, when you grieve the loss of somebody, and like I said before, I don't have a lock on this. I don't own this. Somebody very close to me just lost a very good friend of hers. As a matter of fact, this episode is dedicated to her. Her name was Bambi. And I never knew Miss Baisden personally, but from what I understand, she was a top-notch lady. And I grieve for those who grieve. And I grieve that the world has lost a brilliant, beautiful, loving, and shining light. From what I understood, she was the definition of strength and courage. And my prayers and my thoughts go out to her family and everybody that was affected, her friends, and everyone else that knew and loved and cared about her. There is no promise of tomorrow, but God did make us a promise that He would walk with us through it every step of the way in this life, and then He made us another promise that when this one's over, there shall be no more tears. There shall be that there's going to be love and peace, and hopefully, in my own personal belief, we are reunited with those that we've lost. And you know, everybody that watches this knows I lost mom and dad 30 days apart, 33 days, and then in October of last year, I lose a guy that was like a brother to me, Ollie. He was a Floyd County Sheriff's deputy, Unit 212. I just called him Ollie, and then in February I lost Trev. But just like in anything else in life, the way that we handle death should be considered at least as important as the way that we handle life. And there is no manual. It doesn't come with an instruction booklet. We figure this stuff out as we go. And sometimes you think you're doing just fine. You walk into a grocery store, or you walk in my case, maybe a place where Trevor and I would go and meet up and have a beer. or just hang out and grab a bite while we was riding the bikes. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, seemingly, it hits you, that grief. And you start crying, and people are looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? Well, where do you start? You know, Stace, I think that people have what's called an emotional well. And there's deposits that are made in that emotional well, and they're both good deposits and they're bad deposits. I want to give a shout out too to some of our fans that have been following, and thanks a lot to them. But when somebody looks at you, Stace, and says, "Gosh, you look great today," or "Thank you so much for everything you do to help other people," or when they say something like, "You're a fantastic person," well, that's what I call being in the black. Just like any deposit, when your bank account's in the black, you got that zero balance, right? And you're in the black, you got some money in the bank. That is an emotional deposit. It's you're in the black. Then somebody said, "Well, I don't know why you believe this, or I don't know why you do this, and you are just this, and you are just that, and all this other stuff." And well, that's what I call being in the red. Now, what we got to do with these emotional wells and these deposits that are made is sort them out and get rid of the bad crap. Okay, because let me tell you something. If they ain't financing you, and if they're not feeding you, then what they think really doesn't matter. Period. Because just like every individual human being on the face of God's beautiful blue earth, we are all different. That means that we handle things in different ways. Some people may grieve the loss of a loved one and get over it in a few months and remember with fondness. Some people, it takes a lot longer. Some people don't let it out. That can build up a boatload of bad deposits if you're not careful. One person, my dad used to tell me this all the time, and Stace, I'm sure that your mom has told you and your family told you. I know that you had a brother that passed, didn't he? And was there a time limit, or is there a time limit on your grief?
I can't even talk about him today.
Say, and that's okay, because what people fail to realize is sometimes it's okay not to be okay. What is not okay is when you allow yourself to stay there and you bottle it up and you never talk and you quit living life. Find somebody to talk to. If it's a counselor, there's nothing wrong with that. That takes strength. If it's a best friend, that's great. If it's somebody you love and trust in your family, that's fine. But nobody has the right to judge you because you are taking longer than others to grieve. Nobody. But as I was saying, I'm sure that your mom's probably told you, if you've got one good friend in your life, count yourself lucky.
Absolutely.
Well, I am blessed beyond measure. I've had more than one. Trevor Huff. That guy was not my friend, he was my brother. And a big reason why I went back and bought another bike, he wasn't the only reason, but he was a big part of it. Because I had to listen to the people that were close to me, and I was like, you know, my dad, before he died, said, "Writing is what's going to get you through this." And I thought he was talking about when him and mom left. He was talking about life. I always said mama had a way of explaining things so I could understand. Dad was more like the freaking Riddler. So, but he was dad, and that's all okay. We either accept people for who they are, or we don't deserve to be in their life. That's how I look at this. I have friends of every persuasion, color, ethnicity. I guess that relates to color, but well, actually, ethnicity. They could be Asian. They could be. Here's what they are. They're human beings, and I don't care what somebody looks like, how much money they've got in the bank. All I care about is how you treat me, and how you treat my kid, and how you treat the people I love. Because that's what matters. Because I think I'm finally figuring this out. It ain't about the money, the cars. It ain't about the house or the cash. Or it's all about that little line in between that we call the dash. because I'm pretty sure that when my time comes, that God's not going to look at me and say, all right, let's see here. How much did you have in your bank account? Doesn't matter. What he is going to say is, did you do some good? Did you keep what I asked you to keep? The commandments, the rules? Well, sadly to say that there was a time in my life I probably broke 6 of those a day before lunch. Things change. Like, again, my dad said, things change. So, yes, if you're dealing with grief, if you're dealing with it, it's okay to get help. And like I said, I've got a world of friends. I'm lucky that I had Trevor for the time I knew him. I wish it had been a lot longer. But I've got also other people like Stace. I've got friends in my life right now, people that are close to me. And I'm reading comments. Teresa said almost 39 years since I lost my dad. 7 since I lost my sister, and 3 since I lost my mom. You have my condolences. Sharon, look at Sharon. 31 years. There's no time limit.
There is no time limit on it.
So if you feel utterly alone, like I said, it's okay not to be okay. I had set an alarm, and I'm going to shut that off real quick because I do apologize for that. It's done. But you get the idea. Everybody grieves differently, and people handle it in different ways. And I don't have a set of black robes to my name, so I'm not a judge. If you feel like you want to get in here in the chat room, let me tell you something. I know a lot of people that watch this show, and they watch this thing for a reason. You know, the gatherings and the podcast are 2 separate entities altogether. The gatherings can be whatever the hell we want it to be. We can talk about bullying. We can talk about whatever. It doesn't matter. The podcast is a little more strict, and the reason why is because it is dealing with a specific set of subjects. The poll many of you have seen and participated in. Thank you for that, by the way. Excuse me, allergies. But the poll that many of you have seen, you know, it was neck and neck with, you know, what kind of episodes would you guys like to hear more of? Because I've always said, it's not mine, it's yours. And the majority of people right now, last I checked, was they want to hear more about murders. Now, does that mean that they're grisly and gruesome? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that some people are interested in hearing about true crime. A close second, and Stace, I think you may have saw this, Paul. A close second was hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that brings me to a subject tonight. First off, I do want to mention episode 60 is now available. 61 is releasing tonight. 61 is called The Terrible 10. 10 of some of the most gruesomely or shockingly gruesome crimes you're ever going to want to hear about. And then we are working on one for next week, which is 62. It will talk about some of the cases that we have covered. And it's going to talk about some that we've not. And let me tell you, you're going to be in for kind of a long haul on that one. She's going to be about an hour or so long, but I promise you, it's going to be worth your time when you're driving or when you're at work or however you listen to the Mountain Mysteries. So I'm hoping that we get new Patreon people because we need them. This stuff it's worth it. And I'm not asking for a ton. If I could get 1,000 a month, I'd be tickled. Right now, I'd be happy as Pete with $150 to pay for everything. But we'll continue. I was asked, this takes a drain on you. Sometimes. Why do you continue? Because they're worth it. The Aprils, the Tims, the Dwaynes, the Muriels, all these people, they're worth it. And I think what makes us different and why we're catching on so fast, so quick, what makes us a little bit different is, you know, it's not about necessarily the story of what happened. It's the story of who it happened to, if that makes any sense. Episode 1, Tragedy at Paintsville Lake. It wasn't about, well, this girl got killed at Paintsville Lake. It was about April, who she was. Go back and listen to that episode 1. Then check out episode 3, Mamie Thurman. Episode 4, Meryl Baldridge. Episode 7, and you'll see, like I put on Facebook, you'll see why they call it a lake of tears. That's why we do it. It's not to bring up old wounds or to pour salt in wounds. It's to keep their memories alive. And let the whole world, as many people as watch, or rather I should say listen to those episodes, who these people were and what they meant. And I encourage any single one of you to message me. Or you can send me a whatever thing on Facebook if you've got a case that you'd like to see us cover. And we're working on some right now. Unfortunately, I'm actually in the process of reading a couple of books on a case that we are going to cover here very soon that has everything to do with somebody that was local. But when you're putting in 12 to 15 hours a day, sometimes it's kind of challenging. We do what we can, as quick as we can. But that's okay. We will get it. I promise you that. Now, back to what we were just talking about, Stace. The other night, you had sent me a message on Facebook.
I have to include you everywhere I go. I mean, you know, that's just how I am.
I appreciate that. And that's another reason why I love you. Sharon had came back in. She was never out of possession of the box, but there was a chest that had April's items in it. And tell me a little more.
Well, what she done was she had all of April's personal favorite, a lot of her favorite items that she had since she was a child, things that she'd made her grandmother, you know, her little favorite dog statue, her most favorite shoes. You know, she was a fashionista.
Oh, yeah.
So she loved her shoes. She loved her beauty pageant crowns. So Sharon has all this wrapped and kept in like a little hope chest type thing. And she had it in storage, you know, taken well care of. And I had to come in for a minute. And so we stopped by and, you know, we've always got equipment and stuff with us anyway. And she said, you know, why don't we see if we can get anything off of this? She said, because I feel so much coming from this. She said, I know it might just be me. She said, but what do you think? I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll look at it. I'll go out and get some equipment just to back it up in case you do feel something, see something. We'll have, you know, some equipment to back it up. So she opens it up. Now, she just moved into this house. She's got, you know, she just moved back to
Paintsville. She's not been there long. Yeah.
We go out into this room that has no electric in it at all. Actually, someone was coming, I think the next day or the day after, to run the electric to this room. So any lighting that you see in the video is battery-operated lights that you pop up, those pop-up lights and things like we carry. Yeah. That's what you'll see. There's nothing else in there that's, you know, active that would set any type of EMF off. I checked that prior. I went around the whole room. Nothing. Zero. She opens up the chest. She starts talking about all these little objects and things that's, you know, April loved this. She made this. This is her shoes. This is her sweater that she had on in this picture. This is her baby gown, you know, that she had here. Some sunglasses. I mean, and it just, seeing that stuff is not only heart-wrenching, because I've seen her in this before. You know, we all grew up together. So, you know, it's you feel it coming on. So I went ahead and turned on these machines, and it immediately, from a dead, just 0, just nothing, it just went boom up to the 40s. A 40 spike is utterly dangerous. If you were doing like an outlet or checking something, you know, like a plug-in, something, anything like that, it's so dangerous that it can give you migraines. It can make you sick. You know, I've seen spikes 20, 30 at the most, you know, here and there.
And that blew your mind.
But for this to be on a hope chest, sitting on the ground, all these, her shoes went up to like a 44, a spike. And Sharon said, I just knew it. I could feel it.
Well, you can. It's
And I said, you know what? Let's just do one better than that. So I put another machine down in there and started asking questions. And I mean, this is going on for like, usually if you see anything like this, you're lucky if you get 1 minute. This was going on for like 20 minutes. And I would ask questions, and I explained to her before, which you probably don't see in the videos. If you can light it up for me, that'll be a yes answer. Let me know you're there. And of course, I sent you the video, and I said, asked her just a few little questions here and there. She lit it up right on cue for yes, and didn't light it up for no. So it's kind of explaining the video. So we went from the chest, and we went into Sharon's bedroom on the bed, and I'd been taking care of and trying to finish up her Louis Vuitton that was April's. Now this Louis Vuitton she had on the night that she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
It had been ripped off of her arm, so the stitching was ripped down the side. It, of course, purses of that age are kind of hard to fix, but I managed to fix it up, polish it up. I didn't hurt it in any way. I sewed the strap back on, put a new drawstring in it, leather, and I took it back to Sharon. I put it in this little bag, and I put her a little change purse inside that matched it because I thought, she'll love this. Got it out, and we just happened to put the equipment down beside the purse. It started lighting up. I said, okay, here goes the spike. So we had the tri-field meter out, another backup. It started spiking too. I said, so are you happy, with this, with your beautiful purse that I made, made all new again for your mom? Lit right up. So, Sharon asked her a couple things. She pulled out her watch, her little case that she had things in her purse, and it would light up right on cue. Then I turned the SLS on, which, shows the stick figures and things. I had a stick figure that followed her into the living room, and another little tiny one that was no bigger than the clothes hamper that looked like it was actually sitting on the clothes hamper show up just within a couple of minutes of everything.
Like the size of a child.
Mm-hmm. And then as soon as it came, it went away. Everything went back to 0, 0, 0. But I thought, that's just it's a gift, but it was so shocking, but it was I'm just glad that we got to experience that with her.
Attachments. There's theory out there that spirits attached to things, maybe possessions that they had in this life. Do you think that's what's going on here? Because to me, it sounds very much like it. Yeah. Okay.
That's the small one that was sitting on the hamper.
I see what you're saying. Look closely there. You'll see the stick figures.
I don't know if you can see it better for away.
Yeah, you could right there. Could you point out like the hips and or like where? Yeah, right there.
Legs, hips, torso, head, arm.
Wow. Okay. But now that's not all we got too. You emailed me some videos, and I just want to make sure, because I want to make sure that no names are in there of the people that we think. Out of the two that you emailed me, there's no names in there out of the people that we think were involved in this, is there? If you need a second to go back and check them out.
The one that I sent you on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
You heard when I asked her flat out.
Yeah.
The name.
Uh-huh.
That's the only one I believe is the one I sent you that came real quick there. But now the ones I emailed you, I think were okay to put on here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But okay. So I got 2 that you emailed me.
Okay, let me. I'll go check them right now.
Yeah, you can do that. And whilst you do that, we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to give you the time and space to
Yeah, they're
listen
good.
to them and make sure. Okay, we're good on both of those. Okay, so that does not have any names in there. Because, I mean, what I don't want to do is come right out and say a person's name if I'm accusing them of something until we have staunch evidence to do it. So that's why we change names. But the videos that I saw were absolutely incredible. So we're good on both of these, right?
I'm double checking them actually right now. I'll just go ahead and go through them. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not
Yeah.
100% because I just, I'll try to make sure to send you everything. But
Well, that's perfectly fine.
no, there's one that's a little bit
Mhm.
private.
Okay. Well, we can just air one or the other, whichever one you say to air. I had them listed as April 1 and April 2.
Okay, that's good because I think that's just her telling you
Yeah.
the personal ones were for you.
Okay. So, yeah, we had them April 1 and April 2, I think it was. So we'll start with April 1. How's that sound?
Good.
Okay. So this is actually the videos that we got, and this is what happened. Now, this took place at Sharon's home, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go, folks. And keep in mind, this is some of you are going to find this super creepy, but I think everybody's going to find it very interesting.
This is April's chest, by the way.
Yeah, it's got all of her little.
It's got all of her property in it. A 40 spike. Should be 0 spike.
It is.
Should be 0.00.
It is everything that April.
There's no electricity on in here whatsoever. There's a battery operated light right there. That's
everything that meant something to April. Her little glasses.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing pictures of those.
Okay. Can you hold that little light for me?
Yep. This is crazy.
Now, what you saw right there flashing and beeping, and Stace, please correct me if I'm wrong, that's an EMF detector.
It is.
Okay, that's called and for in layman's terms, it measures the amount of current. It's an electromagnetic field detector.
Yes.
Anything electrical is going to would set this off. If you were to come into my studio with this thing and it powered up like it is, it's going to go through the roof.
Absolutely.
Or if you get it near an electrical outlet, it's going to go through the roof. There is no way that I can think of in heaven, high water, or hell that lamp, before you naysayers out there start, that lamp would set off a 40 milligauge reading on an EMF detector.
No, especially over in the corner of the closet.
Yeah, it was on the other side of the. It was. You need, even if I brought an EMF detector here, and I'm going to switch this around just a bit so you guys can see. Right there, of course, there's the light switch. I would have to have this thing somewhere in that neighborhood.
Right
for it to start going off. Yeah. Well, you're saying that it was over here.
Oh, yeah.
It was further, I'm sure. So that's my whole point. Something has to set it off. Or in this case, not something, but someone.
I also wanted to make a note. The little thing that she's holding that was lit up was a little battery operated light switch that you can take the sticker off the back and slide it wherever you want it there and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
That was battery powered as well. She has no electric in there, so you can't see without.
So it's kind of like a little storage room, like a storage room of some kind. Okay. Did you check the second video to make sure? I mean, I think it's a continuation of the first one or something similar, but are we good with that one?
Yep.
Okay, let's go ahead and check it out, okay?
Yep.
that she was wearing at the funeral home.
It went up on those shoes. It went up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that on the shoes?
Mm-hmm.
No, this should be a 000. This is April's chest with her belongings.
See the...
Yep.
You can see, I told you that clock stopped the minute she walked out of the house. Is the ovulus saying anything?
Actually got the ovulus in there on the bed laying down.
Oh, that pillowcase, that pillowcase has never been washed.
Crazy. Hit that home button on it. And just hit the... There you go. I can't get over the spot on them shoes.
Mm-hmm. You know the pictures of her in the casket, those are little shoes she bought at PJ.
It's the devil.
And cigarette.
Secret or something. I can't
I thought
remember.
it was cigarette.
Could have been. Now she had a cigarette case inside that purse in there. Sharon had.
I know. When I saw it, I was like,
What is she doing?
door. I said, shut. And here's the kicker. Okay, were those the shoes that she had on in the funeral home?
Yes.
You saw that spike. Now, for it to be at 40 is freaking nuts. But for it to be at
You guys got to watch it
42,
even go up higher.
when the readings, as you said and made perfectly clear in the video, should be at 0. It should have been 0.00.
There ain't no shoes going to put off 44
I
milligauss.
don't give a damn if they're Prada. They're not going to do that.
No.
There's something, or rather, let me rephrase my words. Someone attached to those items.
You could feel it. You could literally feel it. I mean, we felt electric, like running through our fingers. I mean, we could feel like on our arms. We could feel it. It was all around us.
So your theory also is that, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm just saying it's for maybe people that are watching for the first time, because you've got several examples behind you that spirits can and do attach themselves to certain possessions that they may have had in this life.
It's possible.
Yeah. Well, obviously something's going on.
Yep.
In that chest. Obviously. I wish we could have had Sharon on tonight, but I think she had to work. But
Yeah, I think she had to work till I think 10.
Well, I'd love to get her on maybe next week and talk a little more about this. How did she handle this? Now, keep in mind,
She's a champ.
that
She is
gives
a pillar of strength. I mean, she's a pillar of strength. You know, she's had to go through this loss of her child. And people in town look at her, you know, at that time like, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. When she knew better, and, you know, she's had to not only try to get help from law enforcement, she has to fight off these people that keep saying, let it go. Won't you just let it go? Move on. Move on with your life and go on. My gosh.
Heaven forbid they ever lose somebody like that.
Came close to losing it today. Over that.
You did?
Someone told her that. Mm-hmm. I tried to handle it as nicely as possible.
I don't think I'd have been so nice.
You can only take it for so long, and I've seen the way the people act with her, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If the same thing happened to them, given all the evidence and the things that's been said and done, it's hard telling how anybody else would handle things. But I like to think that in some way or another, this has all been a really big way for her to heal from all the grief
Well, yes, and you know what? I am all about, the I'll never forget this night. I'll never forget that night. Or maybe it was in the no, it was evening. I told Sharon after we did the first what I called a gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, "Oh, that sucked." And it was not 5 minutes later, Stace, that I get this message from Sharon saying something to the effect, and she can probably be more precise. Her mind is clearer than mine, I'm sure. But she said, April, she said, I have the innate feeling that April wants me to tell you to do these videos. Did I think, okay, what are you smoking and why aren't you sharing? No, I didn't think that at all. Because I know Sharon well enough to know people in this world have gifts. You, my dear, are chief among the ones that I know. Chief among the ones. But she does too. Sharon has a gift too. And I really do believe April, am I saying that April comes out and talks to her like I'm talking to you right now? I don't know that. But I do know that Sharon can feel what April's trying to get across to her. And when she said do that, I said, okay. Since then, the gatherings have taken on a life of their own. Um, the podcast, like I said, was initially intended to be maybe a 3 or 4 part thing that I did, and that was going to be it. My mother used to say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him all about your plan. Okay. And there has been so many times I thought about, okay, this just isn't. And then one day you message me something about an individual, and we'll say that this person was thinking of. Well, we'll say that it made us both feel wonderful, like we had served or are serving a greater purpose than I think either one of us could imagine. Because my whole intent with this thing was to just promote the podcast, be on 10 or 15 minutes. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. You can do this easy, they said. And now, well, it goes a little longer than 10 or 15 minutes. But when I discovered through Stace that we had helped somebody in such a big way, and then I found another one, and then I found another one. And Stacy is finding these people too. Our researcher, Amanda, is finding these people. They're reaching out to her too, saying, oh my gosh. And then I find out from an individual that works in Georgetown at the Toyota manufacturing facility. I don't know exactly what it's called. I'm sorry, but they make the Camrys. That a big part of the plant watches us the day after. And I'm sitting here thinking, is it really having that big of an impact? I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
And I hope it's for the good. I hope it's for the better. Now, y'all would not have wanted to see me last Thursday. I was a train wreck. And I have tendencies to keep those things to myself. That I have been told needs to change. And I have a tendency to agree. So I've got a very close community of people that I love and care about. And I know that they'd come to me because I would come to them. I would come to right where you're at right now. I would cut this thing off, say, guys, sorry, I got to go. Love you all. See you next Thursday, we hope. And I would head right to where you live. There are certain people that you just do anything for because, I'd even come over there and help Lloyd on the barbecue grill. That's the kind of guy I am.
He'd
I
love
would come over there and help Lloyd cook out.
that. He'd love that.
So, with this being said, and we do think that people, spirits attached to certain objects. I know that you've had it warming up, and I know that people have been waiting and listening for this. And I know that they missed it last week. So, are we using both tonight, or are we using a combination of something else, or only are
Got the
we
good
only
old
using?
fashioned spirit box on, and then I'm gonna try a couple different things. But
Okay, well,
basically,
I
it's
tell
gonna be
you what.
same old, same old. We're gonna go listen for some messages and open it up and see what we can get.
Yeah, and we do pray to our Heavenly Father for His strength, His guidance, His love, His protection,
Mhm.
and that nothing evil, dark, or malicious comes through. Only those things of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, in love and in light. Amen.
Amen.
So I'm going to actually grab some water, and I'm going to give you the full screen for a bit and let you run it, dear, because ain't nobody can run it like Stace can run it.
It's all that connection. Got to have the connection, or you don't have anything. Okay, we're gonna open this up. Like I've been talking to you for the past couple of hours. We're gonna open it up and ask that if anybody wants to come through and talk to us. Let me know if you hear anything. Can you give me the name of anybody that you want to speak to? Michael? Michael? What was it? What message do you have? Now, do you have a message for somebody named Michael? So like I said, I'm sorry. Anybody else want to come through? Do you have a message for anybody else that's in the chat room with us? What's that right there? This area. I'll see that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the portal.
And if
Yeah.
anybody in the chat room does want to try to communicate with somebody, let
Absolutely.
us know. Lloyd is kind enough to be watching one area of the chat. Amanda is another, and I try to keep an eye here and there. But keep in mind, we can't dictate who comes through and who doesn't. Wow, my.
The puppy. Do you have a message for anybody? I've seen it. Love something.
I want you to remind me this week. You know how I added your picture, and I wish I'd done that a while back, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get into it, but added your picture to the opening. Well, we're going to put Hannah as co-host. So she's gonna be the co-host of us. So
Now listen, we've not heard from her in a long time. I was kind of thinking that
for people who have not seen this before, what Stacy is doing, and this is for entertainment purposes,
yes,
but she is using certain devices. One is called a spirit box, one's called an ovulus, one's called a portal. And of course, she has more. Stace is a paranormal investigator. She's the lead founding member of 606 Paranormal. And basically, we have this child who is so sweet and loves animals and is surrounded by, I've heard her talk about puppies and bunnies, and there she is. But yes, she is on the other side. But she is in a place of beauty, a place of warmth, a place of love, a place of God that only God could provide. But she does come through quite often.
What was it? So I said Daddy and Bunny and something. Are you with your bunny? What's your bunny's name? All of us. Something. Are you with your puppy?
Marie Lovelace asked if we could see if we could contact Dwayne for her, possibly. Or if I'm assuming that's who she was trying to, or maybe if anyone has a message for Marie.
Yeah. Anytime I get anything that I think's remotely from Dwayne, I message definitely, his family first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, spirits, we're going to ask if Dwayne's available to come through and talk for us. If you guys could have a spirit guide get him, we would really appreciate it. Open it back up and ask that everybody comes through with love and light. Sound like a little echoey or something, doesn't it?
Sharon said Betsy is here waiting to connect with her brother.
Okay. That said paranormal something, it sounded like it said.
And it came through strong.
Yeah, it did. Really strong. Can you contact Dwayne for us? Make that back up.
Do you think it takes spirits enough time? I mean, let's say that an individual passes away on one day. Do you think it takes them an amount of time to learn once they get to the other side, or if they stay here, how to draw the energy and the strength to communicate?
You know what? I have seen spirit voices come through the very day.
Really?
I have seen it. I actually, like, Michael Jackson's voice came through one time. That was the day he passed away. I saw that.
Really?
I mean, you never know what you're going to get. You just never know. And that's one thing that I and you and all of us for sure know. We never know what we're going to get.
No, you never. That's true.
We never. I mean, we can't promise anybody to come through. I wish we could. But we can try.
And Martha Campbell asks if her mom, Glenn, Bobby, or it looks like either Jose or Josie, I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect, but has a message for her.
Okay. I'm going to open it up for all these questions for everybody and just ask everybody to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recognize anything, just let us know, and then we'll tune in on that. For my belief. Something belief. Yeah, that sounds like it's like down a hallway.
It does.
Let me see if I can. That's no better. Does anybody have a message for somebody in our chat room? What's your name? Can you tell me what your name is? Something to scream or something. Something wolf woman. Somebody's going by on a Harley.
No, that's
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just too old for them sport bikes. You'd have to cart me around in a wheelchair after a while for that. Wow.
Oh my gosh, let me turn that down a little bit. That's getting a little spooky. All right. If you guys can come through one at a time so that you don't freak everybody out. That was interesting enough. What's your name?
Did I hear Emily?
Could have been. Is that what you heard too?
what do you say?
Emily?
I can't.
Are you trying to contact Emily? Yes, Timothy. I'll see if Kenny has anything to say. My stepbrother Timothy is in the chat room there asking me to see if his dad has a message for him also. This is April's brother.
Timothy Bennington.
Yeah.
Timothy's a great guy.
That's my brother. Does anybody have any messages for Timothy? What's your name? Do you have a message for somebody? Yes, ma'am. What's your message? Can you tell me? Something said my boy something. Who is your boy? Can you give me a name? My boy's grown. I think so. I miss him. He's there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to let him know if you could tell me your name. With a woman. Did you hear that? Something with a woman?
I heard it.
This one's interesting. Can you tell me what your name is? It's me. My boy is something.
Woman in blue. Like she
Is that what it said?
I thought I heard. She said, I thought I heard women in blue or woman in blue.
I got through another gate. Hi, you two. Hello, how are you?
I heard April's name there.
Do you have a message for somebody in our chat room or that's near? Somebody said, "Good Lord."
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, something. I value him. Well, we value talking to you. Can you tell me your name? Can one of you at a time talk for me? It said Timothy right there. Do you have a message for Timothy? So I heard a whole complete sentence that said something about something Donnie and
Yeah, I could have swore I heard Donnie too.
I have to turn the volume down. That's how strong it is.
And there's so many. There's so many of them.
It's crazy. Does anybody have a message for Timothy or Marie or Serena? Sucks I know where the note is.
Yeah, me too.
That sounded like I said something, Sharon, something. I don't know. Maybe I just can pick out things that sound like names. Something about I was with the old man. I was with an old man.
Could have said me and Me and the horse.
And the horse?
I don't know.
Did you have horses? Did you have horses when you were here? What? There goes good Lord again. There's a country one back there in the background that said good Lord.
Oh, that's good horse.
Yeah, did anybody have horses? Yeah. What was your horse's name? Were you from our area in Kentucky? Sounds like Mick.
Nick?
Do you have a message for somebody here with us?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Somebody said something, a soul. You get your souls right.
Standing there,
Who's your message for? Can you give us a name, please? Said deer or wolf or something. Were you a hunter? I heard it again. Same thing. Something before the night. There's one talking real fast. Listen for the one in the background that's talking real fast. Can you tell me your name? I don't even want to say what that I heard. All right. Does anybody else want to come through? Alive, and many others.
Narrow, such next ceremony, Alex.
Do you have a message for somebody? What? Yeah. Somebody said, can you ask if his name is Dwayne? Is there anybody out there by the name of Dwayne? I'm sure your family would love to hear from you. Do you have a message for somebody?
This has got to be one of the most active time, or one of the.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they're going. It's just steadily. Oh yeah, the moon is super full tonight.
Oh, is it?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you just showed me the. Did you say you had a younger brother that was younger? Do you have a message for anybody? Something, I love him. I'm at their house. Are you at their house? Are you at someone's house in your family?
That almost sounds like the voice that we call, or that we identify as Hannah.
It does. It's very childlike in the same way that hers is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Goodness. Is there somebody that you want to communicate with? Now that's with the volume all the way down on the spirit box.
We're kicking, yeah.
I'm going to switch channels out on this. We're going to ask if anybody else wants to come through and talk to us. ask her. We went round and round. It's like they're singing. It's like they're singing "Ring Around the Rosie."
Mm-hmm.
It's off. I turned it off. It's off, all the way off.
What
You
is
hear
it? Spirit box?
Wow. It's off. Can you tell me what your name is? Can you give me a name so someone can maybe recognize you? No, nobody's forgot you. It's like that they forgot me.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. I'm sure that no one's forgot you, okay? So like I said, I left in 35. Did you pass away in 1935? Something afraid of something, dogs or something.
Obviously, that's too calm to me.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a couple of children. For sure. It's been active for kids tonight. What's your name? Riley. I don't know.
Riley.
Not afraid. Well, I'm glad that you're not afraid. Is there someone there with you? She was. God, it sounds a lot like Hannah in that one.
It does.
Is Hannah in there with you somewhere? No, like a lot.
Wow.
Do y'all seem to have any kind of Mm-hmm. Does anybody else want to come through? That's your name. Do you all have any type of a message for somebody here, or you just want to talk to us? Yeah, we're friends. It sounds like there are many something. I can't see it. It's incredibly active tonight. It's just not stopped.
I can't remember a time when it's ever been so.
Powerful.
Yes.
It's just full. It's just full up. She loves the baby.
She loves the baby. Is that what you said?
Do you love the babies? Babies.
Her mom just became a grandma Monday. There's your validation or your confirmation.
I hugs it.
There's your confirmation. She knew about the baby and hugs the baby. My mind just literally went blank.
Your eyes are blue. And I love it. Love you something in the name. It's like 2-syllable name. Do you love them? And I blessed it. Not believe it. You're awful excited. Are you with your animals? She said animals right after I did.
Mm-hmm.
My bunny. Thank you for coming through and talking to us. It's been a while. We're glad that you did. She wants to hug all of us.
Well, as it so happens, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, we would love to hug you too. But we send you all of our love. I've seen it. That's got to be the sweetest thing ever.
I wonder if she's with puppies or bunnies right now.
Puppies and bunnies. She said animals, puppies and bunnies. I asked her if she was her animals, and she said animals.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know she's still talking. I just got it turned down.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you all. There you go.
There it is.
She's back. She's back. It did. It said be nice. Love you. That was plain as day right there.
Mm-hmm. We love you, sweetheart.
She is sweet, Angie. This is why we're crazy about her when she does come through.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's awesome.
I have to give somebody a hug. Another name. I couldn't tell what the name was.
I think I know who. Her mom is. Let's say I got a message from her and tears of joy kind of thing. Yeah.
That's good.
You know, here's the thing. We cannot control who comes through on these. We cannot make somebody come through. Sometimes people won't come through because they feel that the intended recipient of their message isn't ready, even though you may think you are. Trust me on this. My mother and father came through, and you know your mom's voice. You know your dad's voice. Stace, what did I do when that happened?
Well, at first it shocked him for a minute, and he just got very emotional.
I lost it. Bawled like a fat kid in a candy store with no money.
Had me bawling too.
Had Stace bawling. Our researcher, Amanda, her dad came through. You actually did a session with her, didn't you? And made contact with her dad. This kind of thing. And you know what? For the naysayers, I really don't give a damn.
Me either.
Because here's what I say. It helps. It helps. And to be quite honest with you, I believe every bit of it. I believe that is Hannah. She proved that to me without a doubt just 10 minutes ago. She talked about a baby. Well, there's a new addition to the family. And we are very, very congratulatory on that. I guess you'd say we're very happy for the family. Hug the baby. And you see in the chat right now, Amanda Collins says, she didn't have me crying like a baby. Yeah. If there is something I can do outside of providing false hope, I won't do that. But this isn't false. This isn't fake. We can't control who comes through on the Ovulus, the portal, the spirit box, or anything else that Stace has in her possession. And as gifted as Stace is, she can't make somebody come through. A lot of times there may be a reason that they're holding back. There may be that reason. My brother has seen my mom 3 times. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't talk about these things. But he comes to me and he will tell me, I saw Mom last night.
Oh.
And I'm like, the first time he did it, I said, the hell did you say? What'd you say? And he told me. And I said, okay, what'd she look like? Well, as it turns out, I got this picture on my living room wall of her. And it's when she was probably, 30-ish. Very beautiful. And he pointed at that picture. Now, of course, Mom was near 70 when she went home to be with God. So, as we age, we all look a little different. We are still who we are, but we all look a little different. He didn't point to the picture of her in later years. He pointed to the picture of her when, I was, I don't know, I might have been 8 or 9. This was taken back in 1980 when she worked at a department store in Paintsville called Maloney's. You remember Maloney's, Stace?
I remember your mom.
Yeah. Um, well, she came to all those Christmas parties we had in school and all that
Just
stuff.
like my mom remembers you.
Yep. Oh, I loved your mom.
Oh,
She
she
is.
said he loved my cupcakes and cookies and
Yes.
stuff.
Oh, Lord have mercy, hurt the baby. God, that's good stuff. I still remember those. But
Yeah.
I do with all of my heart believe that these things happen. I mean, how can somebody say, well, God's not real? You ever heard a baby smile or seen a baby smile or heard a baby cry or heard a little child laugh? And,
You ever
you
felt
know,
true love?
I got the same thing every single time. I don't believe in God, but that's okay. He believes in you.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you right now, even Catherine O'Hare believes. I think that was her name, the atheist person that got God banned from schools. And oddly enough, everything went to hell in a handcart in schools after that. Because when you take God out of something, you leave a lot of room for something else to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do believe it. And if I can help, if this thing can give somebody hope, I said, what did we say before when this thing first started, Stace? When the podcast, not the videos, not the gatherings, but the podcast itself first started, I said, if we can change one life, if we can help one person, it was worth it. Well, I think we're doing a little better than that, I hope. When people are able to tell the stories about the people that they've loved and lost, I have yet to encounter a single interview where they weren't sincere. I don't care if it was Sharon. I don't care if it was Herbie, Mildred, Marie, any number of interviews that I've done, these people meant it. They loved who they lost. And I get that. I've lost. Stace has lost. We've all lost. And I'll never forget the day, the first time I'd ever gone to April's resting place.
Yeah.
What happened? Sharon Grass Barron can tell you that story. And so can her sister. So can Charlotte. So can she turned off. She had like this box. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. It's like a spirit box on
Yeah.
her iPhone. And April came through, and she said, "Do you know who's here?" She mentioned Charlotte. She mentioned Mom Sharon, and she mentioned another individual. And she said, "Crease." Well, I lost it. So then Sharon, in her wisdom, turns off her iPhone because she knows, well, Chris is like overboard on empathy right now, or sympathy, or whatever. He's crying. He's a grown man, 48, 49, 50 years old, and he's crying. She lays the phone down, and the phone is off. And all of a sudden, we get to talking, and that phone turned itself back on, and April's voice came through and said, and I quote, "Crease, please help Mom." Oh my, I really lost it then.
Yep.
Because let me tell you, nobody knows April Renee's voice like her mama. But I know her voice too, because it's been right here with that head on my shoulder going, I really don't want to be here, when we were in school. Or her giggling and laughing at something stupid I did. We're not going to get into that because that was not for all audiences. It was done in a classroom. I said one thing and changed it. Let me just say it rhymes with, Mr. Adams, can you get the heater up? It really rhymes with that. And he turned, he said, what? I said, can you get the heater up? And he said, oh. Well, she was sitting a chair or two over from me, and she threw a paper wad at me. And she said, you idiot. And I said, it's those memories.
Yeah.
And, I told somebody, I told somebody very close to me the other day, I said, if I've noticed something about this, and I defer to your opinion on this because you are a paranormal investigator. I am not. But it seems to me like they come through stronger when we talk about them, when
Oh,
we give them
absolutely.
that acknowledgement, when we bring up a good memory. You know, like my dad saying something goofy to me. You know, he used to have his saying when I do something stupid, son, if brains were gunpowder, you couldn't blow your nose when I did something stupid. But I mean, all the other times he was like, there's nothing you can't do. He said, I honestly believe that. He said, I've seen you build car stereos. He said, I've seen you tinker and toy with bikes. I've seen you. He said, and when you get behind a microphone, he said, that is your spot. That's your place.
Yep.
And I'm asking for getting a message from Charlotte, and she says, Stacy, please tell Chris about Matthew.
Remember a couple of weeks ago when I told you about we went to a private cemetery and was able to contact the little boy to the
Yes,
mom?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is Charlotte. It was her little boy Matthew came through. She got to hear some things and help get a lot of not closure, but help, I guess, with the grieving process. Because he was an infant when she lost him.
And back we go to the emotional well. We all have an emotional well.
And I do believe that April is with him.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind about it. April loved children. She loved what I like to call special individuals, special people, special needs individuals. She loved. She was the first one there to stand. And you got to remember, she was like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And son, if she got mad, you'd think somebody just turned a damn lion loose in the cage. She didn't care how big they were going down. I remember her confronting a guy in high school that was a foot taller than her, and she had him pegged against the locker because this guy had made some crude remarks about this beautiful young girl. And that she turned, I mean, she went from zero to holy hell in a tenth of a second.
She got sick of being bullied. She
herself was bullied.
Absolutely. She got so sick.
I think the very people that were doing it, or some of them, were responsible for what happened to her.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, if there's a special place in hell for people like that, they're stoking the fires. I can't help but believe that.
Absolutely. You can look at the people that are responsible and see that karma
they've already been paying for it, and it's like you pay for it one way or another. And coming up with episode 61, we are going to be touching on April's case again. If you're new to the podcast, I beg you to go back and listen to episode number 1. Now, right after that, it wasn't episode 2. It was kind of like a part 2. It was the interviews untamed. In episode 1, I tamed them because we were going for a certain amount of time, but I wanted to get the story out there. And once we got it out there in a way I felt was something people could relate to, because my end goal was for people to do 2 things. Number 1, know April Pennington. Number 2, start asking the question, what the hell really happened to her? And really, I didn't have much to do with that, because I think that happened from day one in 1991 when she was killed. I think people were going, no, this don't.
She was a lifeguard.
She could swim like a fish.
Yeah.
And they're saying she drowned.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she didn't. Tim was an aquaphobic, aquaphobiac. He was scared to death of water. Yeah. He wouldn't have been within a quarter of a mile of that lake near the water. But yet he was found in there. That. And then you talk to Tim Pennington, which we did on the podcast. And he described how Tim Stambo's knuckles were all scarred, skin beaten, battered. Mm-hmm. He was going to fight for his life, and he lost it. And when Tim, April's brother, took that autopsy to a military medical examiner, the guy looks over and says, there's no way in hell I would have rolled this in an accident.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff there that make me go, wait a minute, listen for it. Bullshit.
Not to mention the 2 eyewitnesses that came out there.
Yes, and they came forward. They changed just about between them and the other things that we learned since I have a completely new understanding because I always thought that she was killed at the lake, found in the body of water, and he was really close to her. That's not the case at all. He was found down, I'm thinking Sharon said between 15 and, I'm going to guesstimate here, 15 to 20, 30 feet, something like that down, something like
Far
that.
away from her.
Yes.
They
And
couldn't find his body, although hers was
they had to dive down and pull him up and get him
right.
up.
Even
Whereas
though
April was
I'm
found on the rocks with her feet pointed towards the lake. And one of the witnesses actually helped carry the body.
yes.
I cannot possibly fathom what would happen the day that it happens when the people, and I do say people because I don't think it was just one, when people are either tried and convicted of this, which I'm going to be honest with you, I know that the investigation continues, but I just hope it's soon. I really do.
Serena, I think, was one of the ones who was bullied, and April took up for her.
Yes, Serena was. And I remember passing Serena in the hallway, and she always was so meek and so quiet, but she was so sweet and kind. Girl never hurt nobody. April was ready to kill over her. And I remember that day because I was like, April? And she said, don't. And I said, "What?" And she pinned him up against the locker, and that little tiny finger of hers was in his face, and she was explaining to him the proper social attitude to have towards other individuals, regardless of anything else. But, we all know kids can be cruel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad I was never that cruel. Now, I whooped some ass because of my brother, because of people using a certain term. I wasn't the only one. A lot of people love Mikey. And some of these boys are mean, but they're good men. They're good people. They're good men now. Some of them are no longer with us. But there's one in particular, and I'll just say his first name, Gary. My God, he could fight. And did he ever? Nobody said nothing about Mikey. Not around him. And they wasn't around April either. Because April, I saw her walk up to that class of kids or walk by them and would pat them on the back. Hey guys, how y'all doing? And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, she's just cool. And not cool like with a folded up, even though she did do that. She had the collar folded up sometimes.
So did you.
Yeah, do what?
So did you.
Yeah, I did once or twice, yeah. And but yeah, we had that 80s and 90s thing going on, and but I just remember thinking, if more people were like her in this world, it'd be better. And since I've started doing this thing, I've learned that if more people were like Muriel Baldridge, Dwayne Lovelace. I watched a video of Dwayne. Now you got to keep in mind, Dwayne was like 6 feet tall on a tricycle. Yeah, a tricycle, and he couldn't crank the pedals because his legs were too long. So he's pushing himself down the road on this thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm literally about to fall over.
He was something else.
And somebody took that from us.
What a heart.
Where's the Mountain Mysteries going next? That's in God's hands. I am asking for Patreon support just so we can keep the gatherings going because these video platforms and the stuff, they get expensive. Don't need a lot more. We're getting Patreon members back slowly. So I do ask for that. Now, brings me to my next point. For whatever reason, I don't check Apple nearly as much as I do Spotify for some dumb reason, even though the majority of people listen to the Mountain Mysteries on Apple. So I thought to myself, well, that might not be a bad idea. So I get on there, and I'm looking at other podcasts compared to us. And I do that, like our ratings. Dateline NBC had like a 4.5. Audio Chuck Productions, some of their top ones had like a 4.8. Do you realize that the Mountain Mysteries is at 4.9
Awesome.
out of 5? Out of 5 stars. I cannot thank you guys enough. So, my way of saying thanks. Today is August the 11th, 2022. If you listen to the Mountain Mysteries on Apple, which the majority of people do apparently, and even if you don't, then you can listen to it on Apple. And here's what I'm asking you to do. Get on there, leave us a rating, leave us a comment of some kind, maybe what you like most about it. And beginning from, well, day one, everybody goes into the pot. And on, let me pull it up. I had it wrote down and I left it over someplace else. And let's see here, November, what was it, right before Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving this year is November 24th. On November 17th, I'm going to give away 4 $100 gift cards to Walmart or Amazon of your choice, and you'll have it before Christmas. That's just our way of saying thank you. Here's what you have to do to qualify. We'd love it if you'd like and share on Facebook, but get onto Apple Podcast. Leave us a rating, leave us a review. Am I trying to buy you? No. What I'm trying to do is say thank you for your support. That's what's going to happen. It'll be done November the 17th, which is the week. Yep, got it wrote down right there. Which is the week before Thanksgiving, getting you ready for Black Friday. You can either pick them up if you're local, or if not, if anywhere in the United States or wherever. We've got listeners now in 42 countries. I'll mail them to you, priority first class restricted delivery, which means you have to sign for them. That's just our way of saying thank you. And tell people about these other people that we talk about. Tell them about the gatherings. You know, Amanda and I communicate on a regular basis. She does the research for the Mountain Mysteries, the podcast itself, not this, but the podcast itself. And one of the things we talked about was this thing, the gatherings, has taken on its own life. I intended for it to be strictly promotional for the podcast. Again, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Here we are. So I've been putting on Facebook message, or the Facebook post, hey, check us out Thursday night and learn how to win something. Well, you're going to. And on top of that, we're also going to give away some really cool stuff. Mountain Mysteries, jackets, ball caps, and they're unisex. Guys, gals, whoever can wear them. All I'll need is your size, but that's a gift from us to you. We'll figure out how many of those we're going to do. Right now, I'm trying to figure out why it is that I'm out of coffee. Then it hits me, you drank it all. So there you go. That's the kind of week I've been having. But I think that next Thursday we will be back with another edition, another episode. And if you guys enjoyed this tonight, do me a favor. The best compliment you could pay us is to tell others about it. All we are looking to do, well, I guess all I'm looking to do is to know that I've done some good. And I can't thank Stacia enough for coming on and being a co-host. And I can't thank you guys enough for taking time and bringing us into your homes or wherever you're watching this at, and being there and allowing us to come into your homes and being a part of your life. And to the people that are listening to the podcast, I'm always working to make it a little better. I got a lot to learn, I know, but I'm getting there. Just be patient with me. Hopefully the next ones that you'll hear tonight, episode, I think it's 61 dropping tonight, you'll like it. And episode 62, it's going to contain a little bit of some of the cases we've covered and some things that we've not. But I hope it's worth listening to, and I hope it's worth sharing. So remember, if you want to be entered, go on to Apple Podcasts, take a listen to them. You don't listen to whichever ones you want, and then leave us a rating and a review. And it can be one sentence. It can be one word. I just hope that word is something that we like. But either way, what we're going to do is take all the number. We're going to take a number. I'm going to assign everyone a number, and then we're going to put it into a number generator. And I'm going to say pick a number between 1 and 100. And it's going to spit out, let's say, 43. And whoever's assigned 43, that's one gift card. Pick a number. 72. That's another gift card. And as a matter of fact, I probably won't do it myself. I'll have somebody else do it for me. And I'm thinking you.
You got
I know a winner when I see one, and yeah, that would be you, my dear. So, or maybe we could have Lloyd do it. We'll get him one of them like barrel things that he has to roll around, and have him wear a little monkey hat and sing a song, and and then he can draw. So, anyways, either way it goes, that's a way of us saying thank you for being there for us. Because, look, I'm not Dateline. I don't want to be Dateline. I'm not Audio Chuck, one of those guys, one of their production things. They're great podcasts. I'm not taking anything away from them. I love listening to them. But I just want to be me. And I want to tell the stories of the people that we know and love. Do they have to be national big stories? Yeah, they can be, but they don't have to be. They can be the stories that are almost forgotten. I love those.
Me too.
I have done more than enough of taking up time this evening. So, guys, we are going to step out. Visit us online at themountainmysteriespodcast.com. If you want to become a Patreon subscriber, you can do a real simple Google search. Just remember the keyword, The Mountain Mysteries Patreon, and it'll take you right to it. There's 3 tiers on there, or there's one if you want to donate less than $3, there's one that's a custom tier. You just click custom. How much do you want to pledge a month? Or you can do a one-time donation. Either way. But it helps us pay for all of this stuff. And trust me, it's not exactly, the cheapest stuff in the world. So, but it's worth it. And so are they. And so are you. Stace, my dear, I love you. Thank you very much for
Love
being
you.
here. And
Thank you.
Then I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right.
Okay, thanks so much, dear. Bye-bye. So with that being said, I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I hope that it was worth your time, and I hope that we maybe somehow or another made some kind of a difference. So until we see you again, have a great evening, a great weekend, and remember, as always, stay mysterious.